let's return to that circle of life and lies of GameStop trying to push their used game sales and pretending they don't have any new games in stocks to them, their customers or guests or whatever the hell they call them. So after it was revealed via the Kotaku article that this Circle of Life program where, you know, employees are not actively, I guess, pushed to, but based upon numbers encouraged to push used game sales and trade-ins and pre-orders versus selling new games as much as they can because it'll throw off the ratio of their COL score for their store. There have been a lot of GameStop employees and ex-managers, leaders coming out and saying, oh, this is absolutely correct. I mean, this isn't even, you know, like, this is totally true. So, which is what I thought. Of course, you're always going to have people say, well, my store doesn't do this, that my store doesn't do that. Your mileage will vary, but overall, this is a problem. It's absolutely a problem. So we'll go back first to the Kotaku, since they were the first source that broke this story, about follow-ups from their side. Then Pat got his own emails about this as well. So since they reported on it, according to this, the reporter Jason Schreier of Kotaku said he heard from nearly 100 current and former employees with thoughts and stories. And they rounded up 20 of them. 20. I'm not going to read them all because I have my own, but 20 that sort of encapsulates the point here. The first one's from a current assistant manager. Your source was absolutely right when they talked about lying to guests. None of us like to do it, but we are all scared for our jobs. Woo. I don't want to sound like a sob story or anything, but my situation is the norm. I have employees who work at GameStop full-time, and every time they sell a new console or a day like January 24th rolls around where we have multiple new titles releasing at the same time, they all get extremely nervous about whether or not they're going to hit their numbers. They shouldn't have to worry about that. They're moving product. The worst part is the fact that all of my staff wants to do right by the guests, and we all try to do that as much as possible, but when we're faced with either losing our jobs or selling a product that the guest doesn't want, 9 times out of 10 we'll sell something other than what the guests want. The only people in my store who aren't currently, in quotes, used car salesmen are the people who, like me, have to put in their 2-week notice. This kind of stuff is super frustrating to the guests, that goes without saying, but it makes us feel like shit when we feel the need to lie to our regulars about what we have in stock just to keep our numbers up. And then from another current assistant manager, I just want to let you know your GameStop article is spot on. It might not be corporate, but it's pretty damn close. During an, in quotes, assistant leader conference call earlier this week, an employee from another store asked why GameStop won't lower prices of its pre-owned inventory to undercut sales on new items, and what we could do to overcome such hurdles to improve our COL. Our district leader straight up told her to direct our guests to the pre-owned items in question, talk up the value of buying pre-owned, but with their more money sometimes, and simply omit mentioning any sale prices. Oh my God, it's insane. In the specific example she used, Watch Dogs 2, our guests would have wound up spending $25 more than they had to. Maximize sales and profit while making service matter my arse, which is another way of spelling ass. So you can see that while it's not corporate basically saying you must do this, it's the only way for the employees on the ground levels and the assistant managers to make it make any sense and actually work in order to meet these weird scores. And let's go to some of the emails I got. I'm not Kotaku, but I did get about 5, and I'll just read it. I'll read a few unless they're lengthy. This one first. Hey Pat, I'm not going to make this an 8-page exposition, but it might go that way. You can use my name and information. I have nothing to hide. I reference people. I'll change their names. Hired in 2006 back in Maine during the holiday season. The year the Wii came out. The good old Wii. That massive Nintendo failure. That's my words. The first thing I remember from training is learning about asking people to reserve upcoming games and get our Edge card. Power-up rewards was not a thing yet. Not a big deal. It's business, and sometimes people forget that businesses have goals, and obviously you should try to hit those goals to keep your store open. I loved working for GameStop. I spent the next couple years getting to assistant store manager. I thought this was my ticket. I accidentally made this a career and I was going to own it. Then I spent 5 years as assistant store manager. I watched myself get passed over and over again, but I still defended this company. I saw the joy in kids' faces when they came in with gift cards. The great conversations I had with people about classic games and new games, then things started to change. By now, PowerUp Rewards was full swing. It was the fastest growing rewards program created. All the rewards are great. Okay, I'll fast forward. I was finally given a store in 2012. I wanted to do great things. Wanted to show people GameStop wasn't this soul-sucking death trap. I turned a store that was losing money into a profitable one. I was recruited to take over the only $2 million store in Maine. This was my chance to really show what I could do. Things were going great. Then again, goals were adjusted. People thought it'd be a good adjustment. We were going from competing against other stores to just competing against our prior year numbers. That's always good. I love when corporations, Pat here. I love when corporations think just because we had a great profit last year, we can increase that profit the next year. They're not okay with just making another profit, even if it's slightly less or the same. And I've worked for big companies that have always done this. They think it's bad if you make less of a profit the next year, regardless of the circumstances of what's happened with your company. For stores in Maine, that is a godsend. A Maine store cannot compete with a store from New York City. It doesn't make any sense. Keep in mind this whole time you had goals, reserves per cards, power boards cards, gameplay guarantees, etc., etc., all while working to ensure you keep your payroll down and other expenses down. Then I moved to the Buffalo area. Maybe this is Ian. It was a different ball game. I took over a $2.2 million store, and all of a sudden I was being told I was a terrible store manager because I wasn't hitting these ridiculous numbers. And I stayed. And I was belittled and yelled at and told if I only worked my 44 hours, I wasn't doing a good enough job. All of a sudden, the DMs were stretching us thin. DMS? What's DMS? I don't know what that means. District store manager? I don't know. An average store has between 76 to 83 hours based on your volume. Employees are there from 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., give or take. Holy shit, a 12-hour workday? I challenge you to make a schedule with 4 to 7 employees plus yourself. You get 44 hours. Your ASM is guaranteed 38. I don't know what these acronyms are. Shifts have to be at least 4 hours with double coverage Saturday and Sunday. You'll see how hard it is. Now remembering the day you need to be doing counts, shipments, and processing, trading, and selling games. Plus then trying to add all this shit to people's experience. They call it the complete game experience. That's when you get someone to buy the game, game playing guide, strategy guide, etc., season pass with trade-ins. Think about the pressure. I never lied about games being stocked. I never forced people. And I was at a point where I was on a final warning, about to be fired, because my sales in pre-owned were down. I spent a long time crying every day wondering if I just wasted 10 years of my life. I wasn't going down the path I was seeing people go down. And you can tell the ones that cheat and lie. Their stats are so above everyone. And they're the ones that get promoted. It was hard enough being a girl in a man's world, but this had to come to an end. I got the courage to leave. It felt like an abusive relationship. Oh. The COL isn't new. It's been around since the beginning of time, and after spending 3 years looking at profit and loss statements, it is a good plan. If GameStop didn't take the tyrant view of it. There is no time to train people, managers, and stress beyond belief, and you are expected to always be on call. It changed so much in 10 years, it makes me sad. I could write books on this, along with a group of my former store managers. It's not the employees, it starts at the top, with Paul Raines. They aren't in stores, and when they are looking at nothing but the dollars, they're looking at nothing but the dollar signs. I guess Paul Raines is an executive up above. I don't know if this changed anyone's opinions of the place. I won't know. I know I don't shop there anymore if I don't have to. But if they changed the way they treated people, I would go back. I had fun. I enjoy games, but I don't enjoy being talked down to. Told my family doesn't matter, which is what they do. Holy shit. I just wanted you to have a different view of someone who did everything they could not to fall prey to the lying and cheating that goes on there. If you want to know more, feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'm open book, and we'll let you know anything I know. Thanks, Pat. Always a pleasure to listen to. From Jess, who is tasked to be a store manager, successful in one in Maine, moves to a Buffalo one where there's it's an entire different market, different number of stores, etc., more competition maybe, and then it doesn't hit those same goals there, and then, goes through hell. Besides, yes, there is more pressure sometimes if you're a woman working at one of these stores as well. It's a different experience. You have to acknowledge that as well. All right, I don't know where I'm going with this at this point. GameStop, the Circle of Life program, it seems, is not sustainable depending upon what store you're at. It also seems that from the fact that people are working a minimum 44 hours a week and told that may not be enough, that's a problem. You don't want to overwork people. That's bad. I've been in that situation before. And, yeah. But even with the one or two saying, hey, everything at GameStop is peachy keen, the fact that the majority, and I have another email here that I'm not even looking at, just called GameStop's shitty shit in the header. So there you have it. But this will lead me to another topic, and I'll do a segue now to that.